What if I told you that winning too much is one of the most dangerous positions you can ever be in? That the moment you finally hit your goal, the money, the lifestyle, the validation, is often the moment everything starts quietly falling apart. In finance, in business, and in life, the biggest disasters rarely come from obvious failure. They come right after success. The irony is brutal. The very thing you're chasing might be the thing that takes you down. From the time we're young, we're taught a simple formula. Work hard, be smart, win, and life rewards you. In the financial world, that idea is amplified to an extreme. We glorify the investor who beats the market, the entrepreneur who exits for millions, the trader who times the perfect cycle, the executive who reaches the top. Success stories dominate headlines, podcasts, and social media. What we almost never see is what happens after the applause fades, because for a shocking number of people, success isn't the finish line, it's the beginning of their downfall. Loss is painful, but it's honest. Losing money forces reflection. It makes you ask questions. It humbles you. Winning, on the other hand, is deceptive. Winning tells you that you were right, that your instincts are sharp, that your strategy is superior. It feels like proof. But markets don't hand out truth, they hand out outcomes, and sometimes those outcomes have very little to do with skill. Early success is especially dangerous because it blurs the line between luck and ability. A favorable market, good timing, or a temporary trend can make almost anyone look brilliant. The problem is that success rarely comes with a disclaimer. It doesn't tell you which part of the win was skill and which part was circumstance. It just rewards you and lets your mind fill in the story. And the story most people tell themselves is that they deserve it. When success hits, it doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your brain. Neuroscience shows that winning activates powerful dopamine pathways, similar to gambling. Each win reinforces behavior, not wisdom. You don't just feel good, you feel validated, confident, certain. And certainty is dangerous in environments that are fundamentally uncertain. This is where many people begin to lose their edge without realizing it. At first, they were cautious. Position sizes were small, risk was calculated, decisions were deliberate. Then the wins started stacking up. Confidence grew, positions got bigger, stop losses got looser. The logic sounded reasonable. After all, it had been working. Until it didn't. And when it stopped working, the damage wasn't incremental, it was catastrophic. What went wrong wasn't intelligence or discipline, it was perception. Success slowly changed how risk felt. Early on, risk feels sharp and real. Loss feels personal. Money feels finite. But after winning, risk becomes abstract. Loss feels temporary. Capital feels replaceable. You start believing you can recover from anything because you've already proven you can win. The market doesn't correct that belief immediately. It waits. One of the most dangerous shifts that happens after success is that it quietly becomes part of your identity. At first, success is something you achieve. Later, it becomes something you are. You're no longer someone who made a good trade or built a solid business. You're the successful one, the smart one, the person others look up to. And once success is tied to identity, protecting it becomes emotional, not rational. At that point, admitting you're wrong doesn't just hurt financially, it feels like an attack on who you are. Warning signs get ignored, data that contradicts your belief gets dismissed, feedback feels like disrespect. The goal stops being truth and starts being consistency with the image you've built. And markets are merciless with people who prioritize ego over reality. Success also whispers a seductive lie. If this worked, then more will work better. More capital, more leverage, more exposure. But markets don't scale cleanly. What worked with a small account doesn't work with a massive one. What worked in one environment doesn't work in the next. The rules change quietly, and success convinces you they won't apply to you. Another hidden cost of winning is complacency. Failure keeps you alert. Success makes you comfortable. You don't stop working entirely, but the edge dulls. Research becomes lighter. Assumptions go unchallenged. Old strategies get reused without questioning whether the conditions that made them work still exist. Complacency is dangerous because it doesn't feel like a mistake, it feels like confidence. Every win carries a tax, and it's not deducted from your account balance, it's deducted from your judgment. Ego grows slowly and disguises itself as experience. It tells you that you've earned the right to trust your instincts, that you don't need to listen as closely as before, that others just don't see what you see. The moment you stop listening is the moment you stop adapting. And in finance, adaptability is survival. Success also attracts noise. When you're winning, opportunities multiply. People want your capital, your endorsement, your time. Deals appear everywhere, many of them dressed up as once-in-a-lifetime chances. The problem is that your signal-to-noise ratio collapses. Not every opportunity is an opportunity. Some are distractions, some are traps. And success lowers your guard just enough to make you say yes when you should walk away. There's also a deep psychological shift that happens once you've won big. Your fear changes. You're no longer afraid of losing everything. You're afraid of giving back what you've already gained. Loss aversion kicks in hard. You hold on to bad positions longer than you should. You rationalize instead of exiting. You double down to avoid admitting a mistake. Giving back gains feels worse than never having them at all, and that emotional weight distorts decision-making. History is filled with people who dominated for years before collapsing. They weren't ignorant, they weren't lazy. They simply believed their past success protected them from future failure. Markets don't punish ignorance nearly as harshly as they punish overconfidence. The higher you climb, the less room you have for error. The first big win is often the most dangerous of all. It changes your lifestyle. It changes how people treat you. It creates expectations from others and from yourself, and it sets a psychological anchor. From that moment on, you're no longer just making decisions, you're chasing a feeling. You want to recreate the moment that proved you were right. That's when discipline gets replaced by emotional repetition. Success buys comfort, and comfort dulls urgency. Urgency forces clarity. When survival is on the line, you think sharply. When comfort sets in, you assume stability. Ironically, the people most at risk of collapse are often the ones who feel safest. The safest mindset in finance isn't confidence, it's humility. The most dangerous phrase isn't "I don't know," it's "this time is different." Humility keeps you flexible, it keeps you learning, it keeps you alive. The best investors and entrepreneurs don't trust their wins blindly. They respect them, but they don't worship them. Winning without structure is a time bomb. If you don't have predefined risk limits, exit strategies, and decision rules, success will push you past your limits. Structure exists to protect you from yourself, especially when emotions are strongest. So how do you succeed without self-destructing? You treat wins as temporary. You separate your identity from outcomes. You reduce risk after success, not after failure. You build systems that don't care how you feel. And you stay a student, because the moment you think you've mastered the game is the moment the game changes. Winning feels like the destination, but it isn't. It's just a phase, and often the most dangerous one. Success doesn't ruin people. What success convinces people of does. That they're special, that they're immune, that they figured it out. The market doesn't care who you are. It never did. So the next time you see someone winning, or the next time you are, remember this. The real challenge isn't getting ahead. It's staying grounded once you do. Because in finance, the goal isn't to win big once, it's to survive long enough to keep winning. And if you understand that, you're already ahead of most people who think they've already won.